Thank you for your interest in applying for a grant from the WEGI Foundation. To assist you in this process, we have created a brief tutorial that will guide you through our grant application procedure. In this tutorial, I will cover such topics including the WEGI Foundation's pillars, values, and priorities, our diversity, equity, and inclusion policy, and how to use the required project budget template. Before we begin, I'd like to emphasize a few important points. For returning grantees, this will act as a refresher, and there have been some minor changes. For organizations new to the foundation, we hope that you find this information beneficial. Now let's get started. A common question we receive is how to secure funding from the WEGI Foundation. The key takeaway is the grant awards are based on alignment with our values and our priorities, which you can find on our website. We prioritize transparency, so you can clearly see what we fund there. Additionally, please note that there are only 2 grant application cycles each year, one occurring in the spring and one in the fall. Exact dates for when the grant cycle will open and close will be posted on our website several weeks prior to the grant application opening. Applications will not be accepted outside of these windows, and you will not be able to access the application until the grant cycle is open. The first step is to visit the WEGI Foundation's website and click on Seeking a Grant. This section contains all of the information that you'll need, including the specific dates when the application cycle opens and closes. You will also find details on our values and our priorities, our diversity, equity, and inclusion policy, and the project budget template. Please note that using our project budget template is a requirement, and we will discuss that further in this presentation. Links to all of these documents can be found on the Seeking a Grant page. We will begin by reviewing the values and priorities document. At the top, you will find the 4 pillars. The document outlines our core values, which apply to all of our pillars. In this section, please concentrate on how your project aligns with these values, rather than restating your organization's beliefs about them. We want to understand the actionable steps related to these values and how they're incorporated throughout your project and organization. Remember, when crafting the narrative for your grant application, it is important to clearly express how the work of your organizations aligns with one or more pillar and how our aligned values manifest in your project. Next, you'll see the pillars and their respective priorities, which are outlined here for you with relevant example grants and represent recent projects we have funded that align with those priorities. Now let's return to our webpage. The second document you'll find is our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Policy, our DEI policy. As part of the application process, we will ask you to provide your organization's DEI policy. We will also ask about various aspects of diversity, equity, and inclusion, such as your board membership, staff, volunteers, and etc., and how inclusion is integrated into your project and organization. Now let's return to the webpage. The third document provided is a project budget template that organizations are required to use. We ask that only the requested funding be outlined using our project budget template. Please do not submit your own organization project budget, even if the funding that you are requesting is for general operations. We ask that you use a project budget template to outline what operational expenses you anticipate using these funds towards. For previous grantees, please be informed that we have removed the revenue section from the project budget. We will request this information to be included in the actual grant application. Separately, we will request your overall organization budget, which does not need to be transferred into this template. Please note that the budget template is locked. The blue cells are where you will type your information, and the gray cells will calculate automatically. Because you cannot insert new lines, there are some extra blank lines available for additional items, and whatever doesn't fit can be listed in the notes section at the bottom, along with any additional comments you may have regarding your budget. If the grant application is for a single year, only complete the 1-year column. For multi-year grants, fill out each column corresponding to every year. The budget template should align with the budget narrative portion of your grant application, so both documents reflect the same amounts. In the project expenses, please clearly specify how the WEGI Foundation grant funds you are requesting will be used. For example, if payroll totals $100,000, but you are requesting only $25,000 from the WEGI Foundation, that is the amount that you should enter. The allocated by WEGI Foundation column should equal the amount of your funding request, which will automatically be calculated at the bottom of the template and should match what you have entered here. Now let's return to the webpage. The next section on our website outlines application process, and a sample application is provided via this link. It is important to note that organizations do not need to hire consultants to complete our application process. Our program staff are available to answer any questions you may have about completing the grant application. We seek to ensure the application is equitable and barrier-free, allowing individuals to apply without incurring additional expenses. To further improve our processes, we welcome your feedback and encourage organizations to complete the anonymous survey we distribute after the application window closes. The link to the application will be posted on our website here. Once the cycle opens, when you begin, the application can only be accessed through the link and cannot be found in your grantee portal account. Once you click this link, it will take you to the landing page, which prompts you to sign in using your Blackbaud ID. If you do not have an account yet, please click Create an Account and follow the instructions for setup. However, if your organization uses other Blackbaud products, you can use that existing Blackbaud ID. Then you will search for and select your organization and click Start a New Application. You will then be taken to our eligibility quiz, which must be successfully completed by both new and returning applicants to continue to the grant application. Please note that all capital campaigns must be LEED certified. However, if your grant request is not for a capital campaign, you must answer yes on the quiz to proceed to the application. To enable sharing within your team, you are now able to add any additional users who should have access to the application and report forms in the portal. However, only one person at a time can access the application and report forms. Please refrain from providing internet links or special text formatting in your application. It is important to read the fine print instructions and examples. Organizations may identify only with one pillar in the application for their project. However, if there is overlap with another pillar, you can describe it in the narrative. Please provide no more than 3 objectives and no more than 3 outcomes per objective. If you have fewer measurable outcomes or objectives, that is fine. Objectives should be composed of 1 to 2 sentences at most. Your outcomes should be stated in a single sentence with measurable criteria included. If outcomes involve increases or decreases, please provide the relevant baseline and specific measures for these changes. Due diligence is built into the Foundation's grant review process to address any questions or clarifications needed regarding your proposal. Each submission is evaluated on its own merit, so there is no standard amount we fund. The requested amount should reflect your organization's needs. Additionally, there is no maximum or minimum for administrative fees, but it is essential to present a realistic funding request. Unreasonable amounts may prompt questions or concerns regarding your programs. Lastly, here are some final general notes on our process. Any overdue reports from previous grants must be completed before new funding will be approved. Therefore, please contact your program officer if you are unsure about your reporting deadlines or have concerns. If you are awarded funding and over the course of your project encounter issues such as leadership transitions or anticipate you would not spend all of the funds awarded, please inform us before your final report rather than waiting until the end. If you are a previous grantee, expanding programming is not required when submitting a renewal application for the same program. An 8-stage form must be completed every time a grant application is submitted even for previous grantees. Organizations may apply for more than one grant in a single cycle or calendar year. While organizations may occasionally utilize fiduciary or fiscal sponsor, this is only for specific cases such as when organizations do not have their 501c3 determination yet. If you plan to apply using a fiscal sponsor, please be prepared to provide a memorandum of understanding outlining the partnership, and we will reach out to you during our due diligence process after you apply. We do offer multi-year grants and operational funding, typically to organizations that we have an established partnership with. However, each proposal and organization's needs are considered on a case-by-case basis, and we are happy to discuss that with you. We strongly recommend drafting your application in a Word document to prevent any information loss while working offline. If your proposal is not funded, you may seek feedback on the reasons or reapply in the future. The application is open for several weeks, so please give yourself plenty of time to complete it, especially if you are collaborating with your team, because once the application closes, we cannot reopen it. A designated program staff member will be assigned to you to ensure accessibility for any questions or concerns. We're also available to assist you with any technical concerns within your application or grantee portal. If you have questions, feel free to contact us at 616-957-0480. I hope that you found this information helpful. Have a great day.